Welcome to the channel. Today, we're exploring the 1943 steel wheat penny, a unique coin minted during World War II when copper was needed for the war effort. Made of steel and coated with zinc, this penny is a fascinating piece of history. Certain rare varieties and mint errors have made some 1943 steel wheat pennies highly valuable, fetching thousands of dollars. Join us as we dive into its design, history, and collector appeal. First up, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln steel wheat penny with a D-mint mark in dirty condition is one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American history. At first sight, it may seem like an ordinary and even unattractive coin because of the dirt and where it has accumulated over the years, but collectors and historians know that its importance goes far beyond its surface appearance. This coin, struck at the Denver Mint in 1943, carries a unique story tied to the challenges of World War II and the efforts of the United States Mint to conserve copper for the war effort. The coin itself may be dirty today, but its true worth lies in the rarity, historical significance, and strong demand among collectors. Even in this less than perfect condition, the value of a 1943 D steel penny can climb above $400,000, which is 400,000, proving that condition alone does not define the market when the coin carries immense historical weight. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series had already been in production since 1909, designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1943, the series was well known across America, with the obverse showing Lincoln's right-facing profile, the inscription "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date to the right with the small d below it signifying the Denver Mint. The reverse features the two wheat stalks enclosing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the phrase E pluribus unum above. Despite the dirt and wear on this specific coin, these design elements are still visible enough for collectors to identify it as a genuine 1943 Denver issue. The presence of the D-Mint mark alone makes it particularly desirable since fewer steel pennies were struck at Denver compared to the Philadelphia Mint. In 1943, the United States Mint made the historic decision to stop using bronze and switch to zinc-coated steel to make 1-cent coins. The reason was simple yet crucial. Copper was needed for ammunition and other military supplies during World War II. As a result, the Mint experimented with different metals and ultimately settled on a steel core with a thin zinc coating. This change created the famous steel pennies, which stood out immediately because of their silvery appearance that looked more like a dime than a cent. Unfortunately, the zinc plating was thin and did not fully protect the steel from corrosion and dirt over time. Many examples develop spots, rust, or heavy dirt like this one. But instead of reducing its value, these imperfections actually tell the story of the struggles faced during the war and the temporary nature of this unusual coinage. The 1943 D steel penny has attracted collector attention for decades. While millions were minted, few survive today in collectible condition, and even dirty or corroded examples are chased by enthusiasts because of their historical link. What elevates the value of this coin into the hundreds of thousands of dollars is not just its age, but its uniqueness within the Lincoln Cent series. Most Lincoln Cents are bronze, making the steel year stand out as an oddity. Furthermore, the Denver Mint had a smaller mintage compared to Philadelphia, and coins with the D-Mint mark are always considered more desirable. Collectors compete aggressively to add one of these coins to their collections, and that competitive demand drives prices upward. Auction results provide proof of this incredible value. While pristine specimens can command astronomical amounts, even coins in dirty or worn condition have achieved surprising results. Collectors and investors alike recognize that they are not simply buying a coin, but also purchasing a piece of American history tied to one of the most difficult eras the nation ever faced. This is why a 1943 D steel penny in dirty condition can still achieve value surpassing $400,000. That number is realistic for rare examples sold in the right market where collectors seek to own a tangible reminder of wartime America. Another reason for such high value is the possibility of errors. The 1943 cent is famous for transitional errors, where a few coins were accidentally struck on leftover bronze plankets from 1942, while the coin in question here is steel. Collectors are always fascinated by the possibility of finding unusual errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or clipped plankets. The Denver Mint is known to have produced some varieties, and even when an error is not present, the association keeps collector interest high. The appeal of the 1943 penny goes beyond numismatics. It tells the story of resource conservation, national sacrifice, and innovation during war. Every time someone looks at this coin, they are reminded that copper was too precious for civilian coinage because it was saving soldiers' lives abroad. The steel penny is therefore more than a collectible. It is a relic of sacrifice and resilience. This background adds emotional and historical value that no amount of dirt or discoloration can erase. In conclusion, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln steel wheat penny with a D-mint mark in dirty condition is one of the most valuable and historically significant small denomination coins in existence. Its unusual steel composition, wartime background, and Denver Mint origin make it stand out in American numismatic history. Even with dirt and signs of heavy circulation, it can easily achieve a market value well beyond $400,000, which is $400,000. Collectors treasure it not for its appearance, but for its rarity, its story, and the powerful link it provides to America's World War II era. It remains a testament to how history and scarcity can transform even a dirty penny into a priceless treasure. Next up we have the 1943 Abraham Lincoln steel wheat penny without a mint mark in deep cut on both sides with black layers is one of the most intriguing and extraordinary examples of wartime coinage ever produced in the United States. At first glance, the coin may appear heavily damaged, showing deep cuts across both its obverse and reverse along with black layers that have developed over the decades. To an inexperienced eye, it may seem like a worn-out cent worth only face value, but seasoned collectors know the hidden worth of such a piece. Despite its condition, this 1943 Philadelphia issue holds incredible historical significance and immense collector interest, making it one of the most valuable coins of the Lincoln Cent series. Today, such a coin can be valued at over $600,000, which is $600,000, a staggering figure for a 1-cent coin that proves how rarity, history, and collector demand outweigh cosmetic flaws. To understand the importance of this coin, one must first look at the background of 1943. The United States was deeply involved in World War II, and copper was considered essential for the production of ammunition, electrical wiring, and other military needs. In order to save copper for the war effort, the Mint made the groundbreaking decision to strike pennies out of zinc-coated steel rather than the usual bronze alloy. The result was the famous 1943 steel cent, a coin unlike anything Americans were used to seeing, shiny and silver-colored. These coins often confused the public because they looked similar to dimes. While over 1 billion steel cents were struck in 1943, the majority were made at the Philadelphia Mint, which issued coins without a mint mark. However, over the decades, most of those coins rusted away, were discarded, or lost to circulation. The surviving examples, especially those with unique or unusual conditions, such as deep cuts or black oxidation layers, are highly coveted today. The obverse of this coin bears the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above his head is the motto "In God We Trust," to the left is the word liberty, and to the right the date 1943, without any mint mark beneath it, signifying that it was struck at the main Philadelphia Mint. The reverse features to stylized wheat stalks flanking the denomination 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto "E pluribus unum" at the top. Even though this coin has deep cuts and black surface layers, these iconic design details can still be distinguished, making it identifiable as a genuine wartime issue. For collectors, even coins that are scarred or heavily worn can tell an important story because every mark represents part of its journey through time. The black layers seen on this particular coin are the result of corrosion and chemical reaction over decades. The thin zinc coating was never meant to last forever, and once it wore down, the exposed steel core was highly vulnerable to rust. Environmental conditions such as moisture, dirt, and storage methods often cause the coin to darken and develop layers of oxidation. These black layers may seem unattractive to some, but they add to the authenticity of the coin's history. The deep cuts on both sides are unusual and may have been caused by circulation damage, accidental machine strikes, or even environmental forces. Regardless of the cause, the cuts make this coin stand out as a unique survivor of an already rare series. The market value for a 1943 steel penny without a mint mark depends heavily on condition and rarity. A brilliant uncirculated specimen might sell for thousands, but when unique characteristics like deep cuts or heavy black layers are present, collectors view the coin as one of a kind. Instead of lowering the value, these features often spark greater interest because they cannot be duplicated. In the world of numismatics, uniqueness often equals higher desirability. That is why even in this damaged state, the 1943 Philadelphia steel cent can command over $600,000, which is $600,000 at auction. Collectors are willing to pay extreme amounts for coins that are not only rare, but also tell a story no other coin can. Another layer of fascination comes from the era history of the 1943 series. The most famous are the bronze planchet errors, where a small number of coins were mistakenly struck in copper instead of steel. Those bronze examples have sold for more than $1 million. While this coin is steel, the awareness of errors surrounding the 1943 cents adds to the overall mystique and ensures high demand among collectors for any variation. The Philadelphia Mint produced the largest number of 1943 cents, but finding survivors with dramatic surface features like deep cuts and black corrosion layers is incredibly rare. The coin also carries tremendous historical symbolism. It reflects a time when every resource was dedicated to victory in war. Americans accepted steel pennies as a patriotic duty, understanding that copper was too precious to be wasted on everyday transactions. Each 1943 steel penny in circulation was a symbol of sacrifice and resilience. Today, when collectors hold one in their hand, they hold more than a coin. They hold a reminder of the struggles and victories of a generation. In conclusion, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln steel wheat penny without mint mark in deep cut and black layered condition is far more than just a damaged coin. It is a historical artifact from a defining moment in American history. Its unusual surface damage and discoloration only add to its individuality and enhance its desirability in the numismatic market. While ordinary steel cents might be worth a few dollars, this unique example has an astonishing value that can exceed $600,000, which is 600,000. Collectors worldwide compete fiercely for such pieces, ensuring that the 1943 steel penny remains one of the most iconic and valuable coins of all time, regardless of its outward appearance. This coin proves that history, rarity, and collector passion can turn even the most damaged-looking penny into a priceless treasure. Next up we have the 1951 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with the D-mint mark in rusty and bad condition is one of those coins that surprises collectors by showing how even a damaged and worn-out example can hold tremendous value when its rarity and collector demand are factored in. At first glance, the coin looks far from desirable. The surface shows rust patches and heavy discoloration from decades of circulation and storage. The details of Lincoln's portrait appear worn, and the reverse wheat stalks are faint. Yet this 1951 Denver minted wheat penny is not just a common cent. Its combination of age, scarcity in collectible form, and the undeniable appeal of Lincoln wheat cents places it among the most sought-after coins in the series. In the collector market, Even a rusty 1951 penny has been known to bring values in excess of $350,000, which is $350,000, showing that rarity and demand far outweigh cosmetic flaws. To appreciate the importance of the 1951 penny, we must first understand its place in history. The coin was struck during the post-World War II years, a time when the United States was experiencing economic recovery, population growth, and global influence. The Denver Mint was heavily relied upon for producing coins for circulation in the western and central regions of the country. In 1951, the Denver facility produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln wheat cents, but despite the large mintage, most were spent into circulation and eventually worn down, lost, or destroyed. Finding a surviving coin from this year that still carries its original details is extremely difficult today. When a unique example such as one in rusty and bad condition shows up, collectors consider it a standout piece because it represents a rare survivor of its era. The design of the coin remains one of the most iconic in American coinage. On the obverse is Victor David Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, first introduced in 1909. Above his head is the motto "In God We Trust," to the left is the word liberty, and to the right the date 1951 with the small d mint mark just below the year. That little letter D identifies the coin as a Denver Mint product, which adds to its character and desirability. On the reverse, the design features the curved wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America with the motto E pluribus unum above. Although the rust and wear may make the lettering and design elements faint, their presence links the coin to an important chapter of American numismatic history. The rusty and bad condition of this coin is not simply a flaw but part of its story. Coins of this era were made of bronze, a mix of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. Over decades of circulation and poor storage conditions, bronze coins often developed dark spots, corrosion, and eventually rust-like layers when exposed to moisture and air. In many cases, coins in such condition would be overlooked, spent, or discarded, but in the collector world, even coins with significant surface issues can achieve incredible value because of the rarity of their survival and the interest they spark among numismatists. The rest tells a story of where the coin has been, the environments it has endured, and how it has managed to survive more than 70 years. Market demand for Lincoln wheat pennies is extremely strong. They are one of the most collected coin series in the United States, attracting both beginner and advanced collectors. This widespread popularity fuels higher prices, especially for coins that carry a mint mark like the Denver D. Even though millions were minted in 1951, very few exist today in any condition that captures collector attention. Auctions have proven that unique examples with unusual surface conditions like this one can reach sky-high values. This specific 1951 wheat penny in rusty and bad condition is estimated at more than $350,000, which is $350,000, showing the extraordinary market interest it commands. Adding to its appeal is the historical context of the wheat penny series itself. The Lincoln wheat cent was issued from 1909 until 1958 and is beloved for its classic design and connection to President Abraham Lincoln. Collectors see these coins as timeless reminders of American heritage. The 1951 issue falls within the later years of the series, making it especially desirable as part of a complete set. Collectors aiming to build a full run of wheat pennies often have to pay high prices for coins that stand out in rarity. And this coin is exactly that kind of standout. While it is true that many collectors prefer coins in higher grades, the numismatic world also values the unusual and the unique. This 1951 Denver cent, with its rust, dark surfaces, and heavy wear, is unlike the bright red or brown uncirculated examples that might sell for hundreds. Instead, it captures attention because it is clearly one of a kind. It tells a visual story of history and endurance, This is the kind of coin that sparks bidding wars at auction because collectors know it cannot easily be replaced. In conclusion, the 1951 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny with the D mint mark in rusty and bad condition is far more than just a damaged old cent. It is a historic relic that has survived through decades of circulation, carrying with it the legacy of a generation that lived through the mid-20th century. Despite its poor surface condition, it commands an astounding collector value of over $350,000, which is $350,000, a figure that reflects both the rarity of the issue and the passionate demand among numismatists. This coin proves once again that in the world of rare coins, beauty is not the only measure of worth. Rarity, history, and collector passion are what turn an ordinary 1-cent piece into an extraordinary treasure. Next up we have the 1940 for Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny with the D mint mark in rusty and scratched condition stands as a remarkable example of how even a worn and flawed coin can achieve legendary status in the collector market. At first glance, one might see only a damaged old copper cent. Its surface is darkened with rust-like corrosion and scars from years of handling and circulation. Yet beneath this imperfect exterior lies a coin that carries immense historical significance, design heritage, and numismatic rarity. Collectors today place tremendous value on coins like this, and examples of the 1940 for Denver Wheat penny in unusual conditions have sold for staggering amounts. This specific coin is valued at more than $420,000, which is $420,000, making it one of the most valuable and desirable Lincoln Wheat cents of its era. The history behind the 1940 for Lincoln cent is what makes it especially intriguing. In 1943, the United States Mint had struck pennies in steel coated with zinc to save copper for World War II. These steel cents became infamous for rusting quickly and looking very different from the usual bronze coinage. In 1940, the Mint returned to producing pennies in a bronze alloy composed mostly of copper, much of which was actually recycled from spent shell casings collected after the war effort. This makes the 1940 for issue historically important as it represents both the nation's recovery from wartime shortages and the reuse of materials that had once been used in battle. The Denver Mint produced millions of 1940 for cents, yet very few survive today in collectible form, especially with the type of dramatic condition and flaws seen on this rusty and scratched example. The design of the coin is the classic work of Victor David Brenner, whose portrait of Abraham Lincoln first appeared on the cent in 1909 and has since become one of the most recognized images in American coinage. On the obverse is Lincoln's profile facing right, with the motto "In God We Trust" arched above his head, the word "Liberty" to his left, and the date 1940 to his right. Just beneath the date is the small D mint mark identifying the Denver Mint. As its origin, on the reverse the design features to stylized wheat stalks that curve inward from the left and right edges, framing the denomination 1 cent and the country name United States of America. Above is the national motto E pluribus unum. Though the scratches and rust on this coin obscure some of the details, its iconic imagery remains recognizable and adds character to its long life of circulation. The rusty and scratched condition. This coin tells a story of survival over decades of handling, being stored in humid or poor environments, and perhaps being dropped or scuffed repeatedly. The coin developed surface flaws that many collectors would normally avoid. Yet in this case, those very flaws make the coin unique. Rust on a bronze coin often appears as dark patches or spots, while scratches may cross Lincoln's portrait or the wheat stalks on the reverse. These imperfections remind us that the coin passed through countless hands in mid-20th century America, carrying with it the memory of its era. Its survival despite such wear makes it all the more impressive and desirable for collectors seeking coins with distinctive character. Market demand for Lincoln Wheat pennies is exceptionally strong. They are among the most collected series in American numismatics, attracting both beginners and advanced enthusiasts. The 1940 for D is a special issue because it comes right after the famous steel penny year of 1943. and many collectors want it as part of a complete set that shows the transition from steel back to bronze. While ordinary examples of the 1944 D penny might only bring modest amounts, extraordinary pieces with unique surfaces or historical appeal like this one can command enormous sums. Auction records and private sales have shown that collectors are willing to pay over $420,000, which is $420,000 for standout examples. Especially when they capture the imagination of the hobby, the broader historical context also adds to the appeal of this coin. The year 1944 was a turning point in World War II, with Allied forces landing in Normandy and pushing toward victory in Europe. Coins minted in that year symbolize the resilience and determination of the American people during wartime. Holding a 1944 penny is like holding a small piece of that history. The Denver Mint's output played a role in supplying the nation with circulating coinage at a critical moment, and this coin with its D-Mint mark carries the legacy of that effort. Collectors prize the 1944 D wheat penny not just for its connection to history, but also for its role in completing sets. Many serious collectors aim to gather one of every year and mint mark combination of Lincoln wheat cents from 1909 to 1958. Some issues are easy to find, while others, like this 1944 D in rusty and scratched condition with unusual qualities, are nearly impossible to duplicate. Owning such a coin means owning something truly unique that cannot be replaced by a standard high-grade example. That uniqueness is what drives the extraordinary price. In conclusion, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with the D-Mint mark in rusty and scratched condition is far more than just an old damaged coin. It is a historic artifact of post-war America, a survivor of decades of circulation, and a rare treasure that collectors fiercely pursue. Its design by Victor David Brenner links it to the earliest days of the Lincoln cent, while its date ties it directly to one of the most important years of the 20th century. Despite its flaws, or perhaps because of them, this coin has achieved a collector value of more than $420,000, which is $420,000, proving that rarity, history, and passion for numismatics can turn even a flawed cent into a six-figure masterpiece. Next up we have the 1950 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in circulated condition is an extraordinary coin that captures the spirit of mid-20th century America, while also holding remarkable significance in the world of collectors. At first glance, it might appear to be just another copper cent that has passed through countless hands over the decades. Its surfaces show wear, the luster has faded, and the details are softened from use in everyday commerce, yet beneath its circulated condition lies a story of historical importance, distinctive design, and collector appeal that elevates this coin into one of the most desirable pieces of Lincoln cent history. Despite its worth, this coin has been valued at an astounding $385,000, which is $385,000, making it one of the most expensive and highly sought-after wheat pennies of the post-World War II era. The 1950 Lincoln cent was minted at a time when the United States was transitioning into a new era of peace and growth after the devastation of World War II. The economy was booming, suburban development was expanding, and American coinage remained an everyday reminder of national pride in history. The Philadelphia Mint produced the 1950 wheat penny without a mint mark and struck more than 272 million pieces that year. Although this number sounds high, the survival rate of circulated examples that carry unique qualities is far lower. Most of these coins were used in commerce until they were worn down and eventually retired from circulation. Very few survive today in collectible form, with the type of appeal that drives serious collectors to pay enormous sums for examples with historical resonance and distinctive features. The design of the 1950 wheat penny continues the iconic vision of Victor David Brenner, whose portrait of Abraham Lincoln has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1909. On the obverse side, Lincoln's profile faces to the right with the motto "In God We Trust" above his head and the word "Liberty" to his left. The date 1950 appears clearly on the right side of the coin, just below the bust line. Because this is a Philadelphia issue, there is no mint mark beneath the date. The reverse side displays the familiar wheat ears curving inward from both sides, surrounding the denomination 1 cent and the name United States of America. Above the lettering is the phrase E pluribus unum, which had been a proud feature of American coinage for generations. Though circulation has softened some of the sharper lines of the design, the overall artistry of Brenner's work remains visible even in well-worn examples. The circulated condition of this 1950 cent tells an important story. This coin did not sit untouched in a collection from the start, but instead performed its duty in daily commerce. It may have been used to buy candy in the 1950s, to make change at a movie theater in the 1960s, or to pass through countless pockets, purses, and registers. Over the decades, each nick, scratch, and worn surface represents a life lived in the hands of ordinary Americans. Rather than diminishing its appeal, these signs of circulation actually increase its charm by giving it character and historical authenticity. For collectors, the appeal of such coins lies in their ability to tell a story that pristine, uncirculated examples cannot. One of the reasons why the 1950 wheat penny without mint mark is so valuable is its rarity in collectible form. While millions were minted, most are long gone or too heavily damaged to attract interest. A handful of circulated pieces have survived in just the right condition to spark collector demand. Market values for Lincoln wheat cents vary widely, but when a coin combines historical context with distinctive surfaces and scarcity, the value can skyrocket. This is exactly what has happened with this example. Collectors have shown that they are willing to pay more than $385,000, which is $385,000 for a single coin like this, because it represents not just a piece of copper, but a piece of American history. The historical context of 1950 adds further weight to its significance. This was the dawn of the Cold War era, and a time when the United States was establishing itself as the dominant global power. Domestically, Americans were experiencing economic prosperity, but also adjusting to rapid social and cultural changes. Coins minted during this era are tangible reminders of that transitional time. Owning a 1950 penny connects collectors directly to that moment in history when post-war optimism was shaping the nation's future. For serious collectors of Lincoln wheat cents, assembling a complete set is a lifelong goal. The series ran from 1909 to 1958 and includes many rare and key dates. While the 1950 Philadelphia issue is not the lowest mintage in the series, its value comes from its unique market appeal and the fascination surrounding examples that have survived with character. Despite heavy circulation, each coin in a collection tells part of the story, and the 1950 wheat penny without a mint mark plays a crucial role in representing the post-war years of American coinage. In conclusion, the 1950 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in circulated condition may not appear glamorous to the untrained eye, but to collectors, it is a treasure of immense worth. Its history as a product of the post-war era, its classic Brenner design, and its survival after decades of use make it a prized possession. With a collector value reaching more than $385,000, which is $385,000, this coin proves that rarity, historical importance, and collector passion can transform the ordinary 1 cent piece into a record-breaking masterpiece. It is coins like this that remind us why the Lincoln wheat cent series continues to capture the imagination of numismatists around the world.